I have a confession to make. It's kind of embarrassing. I sometimes just get nervous, but I did learn how to save myself. So unfortunately, we ended our day with several failures, but we gotta stop it right here. For 7 days straight, I documented and shared every single failure I committed on my Instagram story. And let me tell you, despite it being quite weird to do it at first, it was one of the most eye-opening experiments and experiences I have ever had. And in this video, I'm going to break down what I learned from this experiment and share some of the most embarrassing moments with you to show you the impact it had on me and hopefully inspire you to give this challenge a try. Because trust me, it might just change your life. One big thing that I learned from this experiment is that people really value and respect honesty, transparency, and authenticity. If you're someone who's looking to create a positive impact on the world, being authentic is how you do it. In a world where everyone is trying to grab your attention in this creator economy, people are craving for some deep connection. By being authentic in public, you kind of indirectly inspire people to do the same as well. Being real, especially in public, isn't just refreshing for yourself, it's inspiring others as well. It shows people that it's okay to be human, to make mistakes, and to own them. More on that later. But for now, let me share with you a quote that I really love. It goes something along the lines of, as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give others the permission to do the same. Now, you might be thinking, it feels scary to share like your failures to the public, to everyone who knows you. What if people judge you? Well, here's the truth. Some people will judge you, publicly or privately. But those are exactly the people that you don't even want in your life anyways. This experiment has this funny way of revealing who's really in your corner and who respects you and values you for being real. It also helps you find people who share your struggles and ambitions. I heard this quote that also reminds me of what I'm saying right now, that goes along the lines of, there are two ways you can bond with people. It's either through shared vulnerabilities or shared ambitions. And this experiment, it does both. It pushes you to open up, and in doing so, you attract the right people into your life. Another huge takeaway from this experiment is that it's a great way to exercise your level of discipline. It's easy to hide your failures, but it takes real courage and discipline to consistently show up and share them to the world. And that kind of discipline seeps into every other area of your life and forces you to take ownership of your mistakes that you do. You can't just blame any circumstance or sweep failure under the rug or blame other people. You have to face them and learn from them and figure out how to improve. In some way, it's a catalyst for self-improvement. Self-improvement sometimes is very hard to actually perform every single day, to get better 1% every day. It's hard, it's quite hard to be consistent. But when you train yourself to share to the public, share your failures publicly, and not being embarrassed about them, you take responsibility and ownership for these failures and discipline to actually overcome these failures, knowing that the world is watching. Let me tell you, when the world is watching, you start taking things way more seriously. And this applies to anything in life. All right, enough yapping. Let's dive straight into the juicy stuff and check out all my failures from that week. First failure. I was somewhat rushing through a conversation I started in the gym. I didn't give the other person the full attention that they deserved, so I'd sometimes cut them off just because I'm trying to rush the conversation. A problem that I've been facing for a while now. I sometimes just get nervous and speak nonsense. I speak so fast that I don't make sense in conversations. And in general, it all boils down to being able to control your energy, to remain calm and mindful as you're speaking to other people. Because if you're mindful, you're aware of the way you speak, you're aware of what you're speaking about, which sometimes I am not.
when I get nervous and I just blurt out random stuff. But yeah, I'm slowly getting better at it, and we shall, by the end of this week, approach zero nervous conversations. So about failures, there are generally two kinds of failures in my opinion: good failures and bad ones. The good ones are basically you trying something new, getting out of your comfort zone, but unfortunately things didn't work out and you fail. So for example, you talk to a professor asking him for some favor or some help and he says no. That's a failure, but it's a good failure. And in improv, for example, you're encouraged to celebrate these failures. And then there are the bad failures, which I'll also be sharing. These kinds of failures are like overeating or continue on bad habits, or staying until 3 a.m. doom scrolling, for example. That's like a popular one, I'd say. Not for me, but in general, the world. So yeah, the goal of me sharing these is to embrace the good failures and avoid and stop the bad failures, because I don't want to share about my bad failures, like, oh, I stayed up till 2 a.m. wasting time on Instagram. I don't want to talk about that, but I'm gonna force myself for the rest of this week, the first week of classes, to document all of that. So stay tuned.
So unfortunately, we ended our day with several failures, starting off in the dining center where I eat food. I ate a little too much, and as a result, I became very lazy, very tired, and not feeling well, basically. So as a result, I couldn't even enjoy my time in DC. But despite not enjoying my time, because I was lazy, I didn't leave. I just stayed there, kind of wasted time. So I didn't have enough time to work on my own stuff at night after dinner.
Failure I committed yesterday was I failed to acknowledge the existence of my classmates sitting beside me in the lecture. In general, I strive to make the people around me feel seen or heard if it does not affect me negatively. Like the worst case, well, what would happen? I would just be ignored. But best case, I would make a friend, I would make their day. So there's nothing that I lose by doing it. I can just win if I do that. So yeah, I failed to do that in class today. And in general also, if I just introduce myself or just say hi, it kind of makes it easier for them to talk to me. If they had something to talk to me about, they can just start a conversation.
I have a confession to make, but before that, I just realized while taking a shower that I have the perfect example of why I approach strangers and initiate conversations with them. And that perfect example is in the video that I just released. Very, very inspiring. If you guys would like to see a reason why you should approach strangers and initiate conversations, this video is the perfect example. Okay, so the confession is kind of embarrassing. It's the first embarrassing failure that I'm sharing in this week, for this week. So when I'm working, a lot of the times I start playing with my mustache like that, start pulling it, and it's getting out of hand. At some point, sometimes I'm trying to type something in the laptop, but because I have one hand in my freaking mustache, I'm typing with one single hand. So yeah, I've tried overcoming it by like just shaving my mustache off. I tried that twice, but every time it grows back, I go back to playing with it. So I need something different, because I also want to keep my mustache. I like my mustache. So yeah, that's why I'm sharing it right now, because maybe that can help, sharing it to the world, and I'll keep you guys updated. And my plan is by the end of this week, by the end of this challenge, I will reduce the amount of times I do it by 80%. And if not, if I'm unable to do that, then serious consequences shall be put. Like, money should be on the line, or enjoyment or friendship, something like that, something that I love. Also, I'm sure that I'm not the only person facing a similar situation. As I mentioned, eating your nails is one example that's very similar to what I'm doing, for example. So I'd say, we're in this together. We could work together. I think a good first step is to share it to someone you trust. So apparently, I trust every one of you guys with my quote unquote addiction right now. So that's why I'm sharing it to you guys. Good morning, beautiful people of the internet. I just caught myself in 4K having some food when I'm supposed to be focusing on my freaking application for my internship that I'm trying to get into. But yeah, I usually don't have lunch, or I don't have food until lunchtime. So today, I decided not to do that, as you can see, by having some nuts, but we're gonna stop it right here. New failure. I fell over while canoeing today, but I did learn how to save myself and get back on the canoe if that happens. So it was a positive experience overall. So after watching me fail for like, I don't know, 5, 6 minutes, would you like to try that experiment on yourself? I would say just give it a try, a small try, whether it's your Instagram story or your private Snap stories or just your close friends. Give it a try and see where that goes. I'm pretty sure that you will not regret it. And also, the reason I decided to actually publish this on YouTube is because one of my goals for 2025 is to fail more. As someone who's in computer science and programs a lot, we're kind of trained to be safe, to ensure every action we take is something that's guaranteed to succeed. But this kind of affects our mental state and our ability to be open to new things and try new things. So that's my goal for this year, to let go of that need to be sure that things will work out and just trust in myself more, and try new things as a result and embrace the failures, as I mentioned. Yeah, with that said, if you'd like to join me on my journey, subscribe because I will be sharing more of my failures with you guys, and also what I learned from these failures especially, because that's where you gain the value of the failures. It's through these lessons that you learn that you also get to share to the world, as I'm doing right now. All right, peace out, and don't forget to hit the like button. If we get 100 likes, I will sing you guys to sleep. I promise. Every single one of you guys. If you want to get better at embracing failure and celebrating them, check out this video. And if you struggle with the feeling of being judged all the time, I have the perfect video for you. This one. Check it out.